Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live broadcast of Adults Only. I am your big brother Jahi, and that's Chazz over there in the red. And tonight we're going to finish talking about what we started last week. Basically, we're going to be dealing with practical ways of handling stress. Last week, Chazz, we talked about some of the things that we do that's not so well when we're stressed out. But tonight, let's give some positive information as to what we can do, because a lot of people always say, well, what can we do about stress? Because there are some things that we can do about stress. Wouldn't you say there are some things that we can do?
Oh yeah. As far as lowering the salt intake, doing some exercise, there's all kind of techniques. We're going to talk about it later on in the broadcast, but this is something serious, and I would say that we take this stuff seriously because it's very detrimental to our health.
Okay, having said that, those who watch this broadcast, y'all know we can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time and 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So hopefully you set your calendars and your clocks for that time, because this is a serious broadcast. We always talking about positive things to do to help us as a community and as a people, because we definitely need help.
Right.
Sometimes the things we say is unconventional, but we have to say it because someone has to tell the truth about the matter. Wouldn't you say so?
Oh yeah. And if I can, real quick, how was your? I checked the broadcast out with you and Kevin
Yeah.
last week. How was that as far as with you guys?
It went pretty well. Yeah, we had a good time, because whenever you talk about challenging people to do better, sometimes people don't like to hear that, but we have to do it anyway. And that's what
Right.
our broadcast is all about, telling people, just like our broadcast, you and I, some
Right.
positive things to do. And that's why you would think that more people would be in tune to this. But having
Mhm.
said that, Chaz, let's dive into this water and see how cold or how warm it is, because
Okay.
these are some of the practical ways of handling stress. And we'll talk about part two starting right now.
Note, do not avoid the stressors, confront it because it's not going away in many instances. Yeah, for the most part, we like to try to see if we can sleep it away or if we can drink it away, smoke it away. These things aren't going anywhere. You have to take it, and I know it's tough. I know it's frustrating. I know it's kind of intimidating at times. So you have to say, you know what? Whatever the scenario is, let me quit running from it, because I'll tell you this, the more you run from it, the bigger the problem gets, and you have to attack it head on, because like this says on the screen, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Chaz, and some of us though we're afraid of it though. We know that we have stressors in our lives. We know what they are. And yet we don't deal with those stresses. We don't confront those, because many of us don't like to confront what we're dealing with, knowing that if we do confront it, 9 times out of 10, it's going to go away because we're dealing with it. We've challenged what it is, but it just seems like that's just counterproductive to know that I'm struggling with something and I know what it is. I can't sleep because I'm thinking about it. I can't do anything because my mind is on it, but yet I don't confront it. Why do you think we as a people, many times, we don't like to confront that which is bothering us?
Because it's uncomfortable. For the most part, like you said earlier, things that make us uncomfortable, make us question things, or makes us kind of want to go away. And we want it to just go away, and it doesn't. And I would
Mhm.
say it things basically that make us uncomfortable. We just don't like to confront it.
Yeah, that's true. So tonight we're talking about practical ways of handling stress. We're going to give you some positive tips like we just did. One of the tips we're telling you is quit avoiding that stressor, whatever it is, confront it, because it's not going to go away. Here's another thing that we can do, Chaz.
Hey, exercise regularly.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm saying that because this is one of my favorite things I look forward to every week. It does. It lowers the blood pressure. It lowers the stress levels. It
Yes.
actually gives you a clear set of mind, and it
Mhm.
actually improves the heartbeats as far as
Peace.
the
That's
heart
peace.
rates per minute. Things like
Yes.
that. These are all things that's going to be beneficial now to some who say, "I don't really like exercise. I hate it, or I don't have time to do it." You have to make time, even if it's 30 minutes. Get your
Yeah.
butt up. If you can't
Yeah.
get to the gym, walk around the neighborhood. If you can't walk around the neighborhood, walk around your doggone the hallway in your apartment complex. Do something, because I'm telling you this: all the problems that you have, plus not exercising, plus adding
Mm.
all the salt, you're just stacking up so many problems on top of each other that's it's gonna come tumbling down in a heartbeat.
I really can't add much to that because it's really self-explanatory. Oftentimes when we're stressed, instead of exercising, we do the opposite, which is run to the food. But we really need to lose calories, lose weight. And this is one of the most beautiful things that one could do. And see, if we
Right.
teach our children this, our children would see that mommy and daddy or uncle and aunt, brother or sister, they would see that when we were stressed out, we stayed in the gym or we stayed walking. We kept doing that which was healthy. But oftentimes we don't exercise, and that's going to clear up a whole lot of the mindset. Sometimes we just need to think clearly, and then the body. That's good for the body, Chaz.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just don't know why we keep running from this thing.
Yeah, and I'll say this too for the people now, unless you are 678 pounds or something crazy, I would suggest anybody don't try to get caught up in trying to get a six pack, trying to get muscles and all that. Don't, well, that's my mentality. I don't look at exercise to get six packs and muscles. I go just to get enough done, just that way I'm not having, like you said, high cholesterol, diabetes, or things like that. And people get caught up in, I don't see the results, so I don't see the six pack coming in. Stop worrying about the fancy stuff and just do enough to break a sweat and to get the heart rate going. That's all you need to be concerned about when you can get some time for exercise.
Yeah, because if you look at all the stress we're going through, all of us, and it's not just one or two. I mean, as a race of people, so-called race, we all have issues. We got family problems. We have health problems. We have economic problems. We just have relationship problems. We have all kinds of stuff coming at us. We have racism coming at us. We have bigotry. We have so much coming at us. The children aren't doing well. Everything is coming at us, and you would think that we would want to release some of that pressure. But yet, instead of exercising, we bottle it up and we gain weight and we become worried. We have nervous breakdowns. So we're telling you something positive, and that is to exercise regularly.
That's right.
Because the stress is not going to go away, but it's going to help us, Chaz. And I just think we need to just say that.
Absolutely. We got our first comment today. We got Sister Marie. She fires in here and says, Hotep family. We appreciate her. Sister Mashonda, as always, she says hello. We appreciate her. And Brother Ray is back in the building. What's going on, Ray? He fires in here and says, hey, soul brothers. What's going on, Ray? Sister Barbara fires away. She says, Hotep brothers, we're afraid of who looks back at us in the mirror. Yeah, we are. And I'll take it a step farther. Sometimes we have low self-esteem or we're depressed. And when we look in the mirror, we have children or a husband or a spouse, and we look in the mirror with them next to us and we say, I don't like what I see. I'm ugly, or I'm not as good looking as once I used to be. And what this comment shows, not her, but just in general, when a person says something like that, they critique how they look, they have to have low self-esteem. This is no knock at Sister Barbara, but I'm taking it a step further with her comment when she said when we look in the mirror, because we all do this, and we have our spouses or husbands or wives, whatever, next to us, and we say little things out of our mouths, and it's sad, and it goes to show you that we have low self-esteem, brother.
Yeah, and it does, because I want to add to that, because here you have a group of people who are stressed about how they look. If that's not insane, Chaz, tell me what is. We're stressed about how we look because we want to look like somebody we see on social media, or we want to look like somebody we see on television or in a magazine. So that shows that our esteem is not the way it should. And when our ancestors gave us this ability to have a good identity, we take that identity and we push it away because we're saying, I don't want to be who I am. I don't want to look like who I am. I want to be like somebody else, knowing all along that we will never be the person that we're trying to be. So this is going to reduce stress if we just love ourselves and be who we are.
Yeah, and let me just take it a step further, because there's a phenomenon that's been going on, and I have to say this, okay? In life, you're going to age. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to, now, am I sitting here saying that you shouldn't do things to try to make yourself look nice? No, I'm not saying that. But brother, it's a phenomenon where this aging thing is looked at as something that's negative. It's bad. It's something that's evil. No, that's life. And here's the thing. women like J-Lo and all these people, now, yeah, they have money to keep this stuff going and make it look like they can stay young forever. But you got to understand something. They have so much money, and the stuff that they're taking, it's going to backfire eventually. You cannot look like that forever. And my thing is, it's nothing wrong with people like J-Lo and these people wanting to look young. But in the black community, brother, I'm hearing this all the time. They look at aging as something negative, and it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
You're going to get old, and you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
say, you know what? As I get older, I'm still going to, take care of my skin and do
yeah,
all
yeah.
this kind of stuff. But quit looking at being older as something bad or something evil.
Yeah, they're stressing over that. And here's the reason why. They're stressing over that because we know that when we turn maybe 40 or 50, we know that the clock is winding down. We know that there's not that much time left. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to prolong time. And so
Okay.
we stress over the day that's going to come that we're going to leave this place. And so
Okay.
we're so psychologically mutilated, and we're saying to our people that's watching this broadcast, we're giving you an algorithm of love tonight. And the love
Right.
we're saying is these are ways to handle stress.
Mm-hmm.
Let age do its thing. As
Right.
they say, like fine wine, you get better with age. Know that
Right.
you've done a lot of things in life. Now we
Right.
have a lot of things to do in the community. Love yourself and quit stressing over how old you're looking and you're getting, because that's a part of life, man. That is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before I read Brother Ray's comment, I'm just going to say, brother, it seemed like back, and I keep going back to some of these eras, like in 2004, 2005, it didn't, the age thing was just something like, okay, whatever, okay, people getting older. But now in this generation, it's looked upon as something like negative, like you better not age. And they say black don't crack and all this kind of nonsense. But
Well, you
it,
you you know my saying on that.
what's that?
Black don't crack, but it sure gets fat. Don't stress about that though. Listen, quit stressing and do something, man. Do something
Right.
about it.
Absolutely. Well said. Now we get to Brother Ray's comment. He fires in here and says, when I do not want to do exercise, I tell myself to get up and do the exercise to save my life. Absolutely, Ray. Sometimes in life, you got to be your own self motivator. He has this down pat, it seems like, where he's saying, you know what? I may be lethargic. I may be sleepy. I'm going to push myself to get this exercise. When I tell people all the time, if you are struggling with energy or you're trying to get to the gym and you can't, I tell people all the time, your number one best friend is going to be coffee and chia seeds. That'll get you right up and going and knock your exercise out and keep going. But I like Ray's comment, how he says that he tells himself to get up and get active. Good stuff, Ray. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says lack of communication and understanding brings about stress. I'll let you take this one as a sip some water real quick.
Yeah, because sometimes when we don't communicate and we don't understand what we should, it brings stress because we're ignorant to the fact we don't know. There are a lot of things that we should be communicating about. We should be communicating about many things in our lives, but we
Right.
don't. And when we don't understand things, it stresses us out. And that's a perfect point she made there, because communication is important.
Right. Absolutely. And it is just like as an adult, we need to be communicating, trying to get things understood and iron things out. But in this society, it's like now they expect us to be mind readers. They expect us to figure out why we're angry and things like that. And like this sister said, it can bring about stress when you're not communicating well. So hopefully we get that under control. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, I was at the store today and walked to the glazed donuts. Then I told myself, get your fat butt away from these donuts. Here's the thing, Ray. And they say that in exercise weeks, you can have a cheat day. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can't go cold turkey. You can't just cut it off all the way. But I would say that in Ray's case, he had enough discipline this day to say, you know what? I'm not going to get those donuts. But Ray and all the other listeners, it's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself, as they say, cheat day. Get you a donut, get you some ice cream. But what we're saying is don't make it a habit to where every day you run into the freezer. Every day you go into Dunkin' Donuts. Every day you're going to Krispy Kreme. We're just saying don't make it that kind of habit. But even myself, I cheat sometimes. So it's just about a moderation, I would say.
And then sometimes, Chad, since we're talking about practical ways of handling stress, when we get so caught up in the sugary foods and the drinks, sometimes when we don't have them because our body is used to it, we stress because we don't have it. You see?
Mm.
So we're
Mm-hmm.
bringing stress into our lives, not even realizing that we put ourselves in that position to be stressed out. Oh, I need me something sweet. I got a sweet tooth. No, that's not what it is. It's just that our body is addicted to this sugar.
Right.
And so
Right.
now we're stressing over this. And as soon as
Right.
we get that sugar, it's like a high. We come back down again, only to try to get back up when we're not as high as we should be.
Absolutely. Sister Barbara fires back in here. She says, I'm speaking of looking way down in the inside, looking in the mirror to bring about positivity and what's in the heart and what I'm dealing with. I'll let you take it and I'll piggyback off her comment.
Yeah, because what she's basically saying is when you are stressful, and all of us have been, and some of us are stressful as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
she's saying she goes within the self. She goes within the inner self. She goes within the soul, within the spirit, within the consciousness. And when she goes within the consciousness, she begins to look at how to make that thing positive as opposed to worrying about certain things. Many times, these are things we can't do anything about. So
Right.
that's a beautiful tip. And these are spiritual principles that all of us should be abiding by when it comes to stress. Instead of
Right.
talking about people all the time, looking down on people, thinking we're better than people, when we're stressed out, we need to look deep down on the inside of ourselves and begin to challenge us to do better because there's no way that we should be stressing the way we are as a people, Chaz.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback off of what you said a few minutes ago. Half of the time, we're stressing over stuff that's out of our control. We can't control it. We want to control it, but since we can't, we get angry, we get frustrated, and that's just not a way to be. And as the sister said on the screen, you have to dig on the inside, look yourself in the mirror, and say, you know what? I need to find something that's been rooted in my foundation from years ago, whatever your spiritual practices are, and put that into use so that way you can stop stressing. And I'm telling you, brother, I'll probably say 80% of the stuff we're stressing is about stuff that we have no control over. And the other 20% we probably can. Brother Rake fires back in here. He says, trust me, I need to get strict about the carbs. Yeah. And then Sister Barbara and Ray are in the section. She says, Ray, Ashe, brother, I feel the same way. Okay, but yeah, the thing with the carbs, it's they got the way these diets are, brother. Sugar and carbs is pretty much in everything. You can't really get away from it. And when you think you're getting away from it, they're still sneaking it in. So it's just a matter of now, like I'm just making this on the fly. It's trying to minimize it as much as possible because I found this out the hard way. No matter how vegan or the keto diet or whatever you do, I'm not knocking that. There's always going to be some kind of sugars that they're sneaking in there. They're just not telling us about it. But I respect that, Ray. He said he's trying to get away from the carbs. So at least he's trying to make the right decision.
Practical ways of handling stress. That's what our subject is tonight. Here's another way that we can handle stress.
B, try relaxing techniques, deep breathing, meditation, yoga, and calming the mind and body techniques. Absolutely. I'm not against these things. This kind of blends in with the exercise as well. Deep breathing. These are things that's going to minimize the stress. We have to take this serious because the stress
Yes.
levels for the African American community
Yes, sir.
are shooting out the roof. And
Yeah.
if you say, well, I don't know how to do the deep breathing, me personally, I'm not into these things, but you can go to YouTube and type in or Google how to beginners one-on-one deep breathing or meditation. They'll teach you these things, but you have to get this stuff under control, brother. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree with you because most of us are as we worry like worry warts. We have so much going on, and as I mentioned earlier, there are a plethora of things that we worry about. Sometimes, Chaz, it's the mind. Okay, let's
Okay.
just be honest. It's the mind that's unstable. It's the mind that's wandering to and fro. So these relaxing techniques, they help us to take it easy. They help us to breathe a certain way. They help us to think a certain way. They calm our mind and our body. And we all need calming. We all need relaxation. And that's what we don't get enough of. And this is why we have to talk like this, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and let me ask you, brother, you personally, let me find out. You got your little yoga mat, and you be doing those breathing techniques. You got you one.
Well, I do a lot of this stuff when I'm in the bed. A lot of
Okay.
this stuff is something that I do because of what I actually believe. And I
Okay.
know that a mind has to be free from worry. A
Right.
mind has to allow things to come in, and
Mm-hmm.
then that mind shouldn't stress on those things. Now, we've
Okay.
never said that things won't happen to us. All we're saying
Okay.
is when we're stressed and when the stressors come, we have to know how to deal with them. And a lot of us, we're not breathing right, we're not eating right, we're not sleeping right, we're not. And so this is all making us look much older than we are because we don't know how to handle the stress. And these are just basic ways to handle stress, which this next one, I think you read. I want to say something about that before I read a comment because this is important right here.
Okay. Letter C. Get enough sleep. Aim to get at least 6 to 9 hours of sleep, quality sleep each night. This recharges the body and helps cope with stress. And I would agree, if you can, try to aim. I would say 8 hours should be the best. You should be getting at least 8 hours of sleep. And if some say, "Well, I can't sleep," I tell you two reasons why you can't sleep. You're constantly on that cell phone. That's going to get your attention. You constantly got that TV blaring, trying to watch all your TV shows. I'm telling you, and I know you have to get up for work the next day or what have you. Get that cell phone, put it in the drawer, go to bed, turn that TV off. Those are two ways I would say you should start doing to kind of getting yourself active to try to get your sleep. And then the last one I would say is try not to eat spicy or sugary foods before bed. I would suggest try to cut it off around 8 o'clock at night and stop eating and stop drinking. Now, if you have to get water, I get that, but you have to get sleep because, as we mentioned earlier, if you're not, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be cranky, you're going to look older, and it's just not a good look if you're not getting at least 8 hours of sleep a night. Would you agree?
I think that is so true because a lot of us don't realize the importance of sleep when it comes to stress. Sometimes all we need is a good night's sleep. In fact, all we need is a good month's sleep. In other words, go to bed at a decent hour
Mm-hmm.
and sleep and turn off all of that stuff that's going to hinder you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get up until you've rested. Don't get up just because you had a few hours of sleep and the battery is charged, you feel, and you jump back up because that stress is going to overwhelm us. And this is
Okay.
why people have strokes. And we're saying,
Mm.
love you. This is a broadcast, again, that's for the people. This is a broadcast that should be watched every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Why? Because we're giving out practical tips and ways of handling stress on this week's broadcast. Who would not want to know how to handle stress when most of us have so much in our lives, so much in our hearts, so much in our minds, so much in our houses? We're just stressed all around, but yet we don't have enough sense to know that you must look at practical ways to aim for stress. And as Chazz was saying, with the beautiful mind, some of it boils down to practicality, and that is this: go to sleep and get you some rest. Quit thinking you're going to miss everything. Quit trying to burn the candle at both ends all the time, because all that does, Chazz, is that messes us up and it makes us stressful more.
Absolutely. Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, I barely worry. I let my bad moments, and when they are over, and all I could do about something, I tell myself, good job. You did all you can, so I'll do more tomorrow. Absolutely. That's a good way to look at things. Quit, not Ray, just in general. Quit beating yourself down. Quit adding all the stress on your shoulders and say, like Brother Ray said, you know what? I did the best I could do today. If I live to see tomorrow, I'll finish it tomorrow. But he's saying it when he's letting it go. He's not always putting all this extra stress on himself. He does what he can, and then he keeps it moving. That's a good mindset. And then he fires back in here and says, "I've been doing yoga since I was in middle school."
And
Okay,
that's a beautiful
that's
thing.
good.
That's a beautiful thing because that's one way to handle stress. You see, we're talking about ways to handle stress, but see, we're not talking about mess because a lot of us are messy. We got
Right.
so many family problems, so many personal problems, so many health problems, so many job related problems. We have so many children problems. We've got to stop this and begin to see that if you want to live a longer time, we're going to have to take that stress and deal with it in a practical way that's it's going to be better for us. And as Ray said, yoga is a good thing to do, but you just have to know how to keep your mind right, because things going to come up on us all the time. But the first thing we do is we crack up. We run to the bottle. We run to the bottle. We run to the dope. We run to fighting. We run to cursing. We run to worry. We run to gaining weight. We run to eating sweets. We run to pouring on salt. We run to cussing people out. We run to not want to be bothered. See, these are the things that keep stress, but we're saying this is how you reduce stress, and this is a disgrace how people can't look at the practicality to say this show may help save my life, because
Right.
all of us are stressed. Every
Right.
one of us have things going on, but what do? We pick our face, we bite our fingernails, we pull our toes, we pull our nose, we pick our nose, our hair falls out because we're stressed, man. We're stressed, man. And all we're saying is we've got to do these practical things that you and I are talking about to help keep us around here for a while.
Sister Barbara gives us an encouraging comment. She says, "Teach Kings." We appreciate that. Sister Dee Dee's in the building. She says, "Hello, everyone. Hey, Dee Dee, how you
What's
doing?"
happening, niece?
Sister Barbara fires in here. She's talking to Dee Dee. She says, "What's going on with Dee Dee?" Okay. And Brother Ray's back in here. He says, "My struggle in health, but I don't let that get me down. I'm far from being in critical condition." That's right. As long as you're not, the best way I would look at it, if you're not in the hospital with tubes coming out of you, having to have all these meds pumped in your system, always having to have some kind of doctor remind you when to take these meds. As long as you're not in that condition, you're well. And Ray saying this in a joking matter, but that's true. We all may have some issues in our health where we may be addicted to sugar. We may be addicted to salt. We may be addicted to all these things, which is okay. But we can't let it take over our lives. We're constantly stressing about it, constantly worrying about it, constantly just stressing out about it. So as long as you know that you have an issue, pick at it a day at a time. And like you said earlier, Ray, try to knock it down a piece at a time, and then push the rest of it to the next day. Letter D, cut the stressors loose. Detach from those that are causing the stress. Yeah, we got a lot of people that's causing the stress. Some of our neighbors, some of our relatives, some of the people that we work with. And we hang with these people day and night, and we're constantly on the phone with them day and night, and we're wondering why we're always agitated, always frustrated. Well, take a look at your circle and say, you know what? Every time I talk to this person, they have me angry or grouchy or upset. Maybe I need to cut this person off. And you can do it in a nice way. You don't have to cuss them out. You can say, you know what, Sheila or Susie, I need to stop communicating with you because of X, Y, Z. And you don't have to cuss them out. You don't have to make it nasty. Just tell them that you're tired of talking to them for a week or two, and just keep going about your business without making a scene about it.
Yeah, Chaz, a lot of us don't know what this letter D means. We don't know what it means. Now, practically, we do know. But when I say we don't know, the oxymoron here that I'm getting into is we don't want to cut them loose. We know these people are no good. We know these people are up to no good. We know these people are cheaters. We know these people are liars. We know these people are hypocrites. We know that these people are sick, but we don't want to cut the stressors loose. But yet those stressors are the ones that's causing stress in our lives. They're very negative. Every time you talk to them, they're negative. They never have anything good to say. They remind me of Bad Luck Schlebrock on the Flintstones. Every time you saw him, he said, wowsy, wowsy, woo. He always complained. He always griped. He always murmured. He always cried. This is how some of us are. And we're saying that you're going to have to cut the stressors loose, detach from those that are causing the stress, Chaz. And I know you know just as well as I know, a lot of us don't want to do this because we don't realize that when we do this, it's good for us. We've been doing this for so long, we don't even know how. And if we do call ourselves cutting the stressors loose, we pick it back up within the next day or so.
And I was going to say it, I don't know if we look at it this way, brother, but some of the stressors and the people that we constantly talk to, they're our comfort because it gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to do. It gives us something to look forward to, even though we
Mess.
know these people could be
Yeah.
weighing down on us or messing
Messy.
our mental health up.
Mhm.
But it's something that we like to complain about because it's our comfort zone. This is all we know, we grew up on, and we have to do something about this so our health doesn't take a toll.
Let me say
We'll
something
move on.
before you read that. Let me say something
Go for
before
it.
you read each ass, because I want to go right off what you just said. Some
Okay.
of us, Chazz, we live in stress. We like stress. We say we don't like stress, but when everything is calm and cool and serene, we don't know how to act. We gotta find something to get us up in the air. We're
That's
so
right.
we're very messy. Many of us are as a people. So that's why we're talking about how to handle stress. But a lot of us don't want to handle stress. We
Yeah.
love arguing. We love confrontation. We love bickering. And so this is why a lot of us will never be free when it comes to this stress ideology, because we bring stress in our own lives. We look for stress. We want stress. We're messy people. And listen, we go to church, we go to the mosque, we go to spiritual meetings, but we're the messiest ones because that stuff doesn't work, because all we're doing is trying to find something that can bring turmoil in our lives. And that is a sick individual that has that mindset. So we're telling all of you tonight that's watching this broadcast, don't be like that. We don't
Right.
want you to be like that. So go
Right.
ahead.
And if I can, real quick before we move to letter E, you just touched on something I needed to touch on. All the people who are still working, I don't care if you're young or old, listening. Even in the workplaces like this, where it can be quiet, it's nothing going on for a week, everybody's doing their job, coming in on time, clocking out on time, doing everything that they're supposed to do. Upper management, sometimes I'm starting to hear this and figure this out. I see videos and stuff on it, where management feels like since it's not going on, they want to spice it up a bit by causing some nitpicking arguments or stuff like that so they can have something to gossip about in their office. Like you said, if you are in these situations, do your job and get the heck out of there. Don't worry about what they're saying, because I'm figuring this out the hard way that management sometimes will do this. There's nothing going on in the company, so they'll pick with certain individuals to try to get some stuff started. Don't fall for the bait. I just want to add that real quick about people starting unnecessary chaos.
Good talk.
Letter E. Maintain a healthy diet. Eat a well-balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. This is an excellent point. We don't like vegetables. I've heard this a lot, even growing up. As kids, we said, I don't like carrots. I don't like green beans. I don't like vegetables. They're nasty. They're not fat enough. They don't have any twang to it. So we don't like these things because they don't taste good, but it helps our immune system. It helps us out in the long run. I'll even add in there nuts, whole grains. All these things are going to benefit us in our health. But brother, all these things that we're suggesting on the screen, wouldn't you say that we don't like these things because they don't taste as attractive as chicken and hot wings and all that kind of stuff?
That's it. That's exactly what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mind, because I was going to follow up with the very thing you said that you led me into. So you led me right into the room that I wanted to go into. So since I'm in the room, a lot of us, when it comes to healthy diet, we don't know what a healthy diet is, because all we've had all of our lives are greasy foods, buttery foods, sweet foods, salty foods, foods that's got so much stuff in it, processed food, processed meat, so much salt. We don't know what a healthy diet is. We don't drink water. We don't drink enough healthy juices. We don't eat enough fruit. We don't eat enough vegetables. Most parents don't even know what a nice balanced meal is, because we weren't fed healthy meals and diet foods that's rich in fruits and vegetables and whole grains. So what I'm saying is, this is going to cause stress, because when we don't eat like this, it's going to cause stress. Because when you go to the doctor and the doctor says you have high blood pressure, now you're stressed because you have high blood pressure, but it was a healthy diet. In these religious organizations, they don't talk about this because they're too busy trying to talk about other things. These are important subjects, Chazz, and I'm telling you, this is a wonderful subject because we're trying to reduce stress in our lives. Who would not want this other than an idiot? Who wouldn't want to talk about things that's going to help them when we talk about drinking water and all of that?
Yeah. And I want to touch on that water. that's going to be your best bet. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting you a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew every now and then. But every time you open that fridge, you should be grabbing some water. You shouldn't be looking for the Kool-Aid, the twisted teas, the lemonade, and all that. That's not good for you. When you urinate, and this isn't a health video, but we're tying it into this because it's going to help you with your stress. When you urinate, it shouldn't be gold. It should be clear as day. So we have to drink a lot of water. We have to.
And
I see you
one day I was talking to some guys, and at that time, man, I didn't care about my diet. And boy, I ate everything under the sun. And they told me something that it was funny, but I listened to it and it's true. And they said, you over there trying to be funny about how you eating all these hamburgers and all these pig's feet and all this stuff. And they said, all you're doing is digging in a grave with your teeth. Yeah. Now, I thought that was funny, but they're right. Many of us are digging graves with our teeth. That's why the pharmaceutical company is making so much money. It's so funny because we're stressed out and we don't know how to do what we're saying. So therefore, it keeps the stress. We keep eating, we keep drinking, we keep smoking. And these are the things that's really causing us havoc. But this is a wonderful tip. So for those out there today that's watching this broadcast, we're trying to talk about practical ways of handling stress. That's all we're talking about.
And let me say this real quick, and I know you want to move on. And don't cheat, because what we'll do is we'll go get some water from Walmart and all these places, and we get those. It's like a pack, and it's like Hawaiian Punch or something. We'll put that in there and say, "I'm drinking my water." You basically, excuse me. You're basically cheating. That's not water that you. If you add some sparkling water or something like that's not drink. Do not put any of that crap in there. And I know it may be nasty, but you have to drink it because I hear people say this all the time. I got my water today, but they had one of those Hawaiian packets in there. That's not water, bro. That's not. But that's how people are trying to cheat. Well, it's going to catch up to them. Brother Ray Fire is back in here. He says, my struggle in health, but I don't want to let that get me down. Far from being in critical condition. I think we read this one. That one, I'm sorry. He says I still got all my 32 teeth too. Okay. And then he comes back at us. He says, holding grudges keeps me from around the wrong people. Yeah. The Sister Barbara comment. She says, we lose our inner peace when we can't let go of stress, which also is a lack of confidence in ourselves. Yeah, and I would say to anybody that's listening to this with the stress thing, as she just commented, touch on it, let it go. Quit dwelling on it. Quit piling it on every 5 seconds. You're constantly thinking about it. You're constantly on YouTube looking at videos about it and all this crap. Touch on it. Let it go, because the more you're unforgiving, the more you hold all this crap in, it's just going to build up, make you angry, make you agitated, and make you have high blood pressure, as we keep mentioning, and it's going to have you more angry and grouchy. So, like I keep saying, touch on it, let it go, and keep it moving. Quit harboring all this stress, man.
Yeah, I want to take a shot at what this queen says, not in a negative way, because she's right. We lose our inner peace. But when I say take a shot at it, what I'm saying is this: if we're honest, Chazz, and you and I are two honest guys, so let's just keep it real. What I'm trying to get at is this: some of us, we never have the inner peace. You can't lose that which is peaceful if you have it. Either you got it or you don't. So there's no such thing. And I know she's not saying this, but I'm saying a lot of people, we never had the inner peace. We sing it. We pray about it, we talk about it, but we never have it, because all we have to do is push that button. When we push that button, we lose everything. So if we lose it, then did we really have peace? Because true peace is not like that. True peace doesn't let stress get the best of it. True peace doesn't let kids, jobs, and bills and health. True peace doesn't let stress do us that way. So I push back, not in the sense that she's not telling the truth, because we do, but I'm saying we got to stop this, because a lot of us like to think we have peace, but we really don't have peace. Because if we truly had peace, this crap that we're going through wouldn't beat us like it is. And these kids that are seeing this wouldn't turn out the way they are because of us in us not being able to handle the situations because we were so stressed out.
Before I get the Ray's comment, I want to take it a step farther. Our peace is tied to material, brother. I've
Mm.
noticed that our peace is tied to if we get a new TV, we get a new Rolls Royce, we
Yeah,
get a
we
new
happy.
Bugatti,
Yeah.
we get stuff like that. That's what our peace is. And for example, if that Rolls Royce shuts down, if that TV breaks or that new condominium breaks, whatever we get, that makes us angry. We start at, because at first, if you notice, when you get that new condominium, everybody, oh, you balling, you doing your thing. Or if it shuts down to somebody breaks in and steals it, which that's not good. I agree, it's terrible. Our whole demeanor changes. We're not talking loud anymore. We're shutting in the house more. We don't answer our cell phones anymore. We're not texting anymore. So I was just going to add to that our peace is tied up to material, which you should not be banking your life on materialism, because as we all know, these things are going to get old, rusted, and they're going to fade away.
Chaz, I think that's a broadcast right there. That's a broadcast.
What's that?
What is peace? Because I don't think we go to these places, Chaz, and they talk about it and they sing about it and it sounds good. we never had it defined. What is peace? Because people keep thinking that peace is the absence of war or the absence of something going on. That's not peace. Because peace is when you're going through those things. Can you still be conscious enough to maintain what you're doing? See, that's peace, not that nothing happens to us. So we need to do a broadcast on what is really peace. But tonight we're talking about ways of handling stress. And what is Ray talking about here? Because he got something good, it looks like.
Yeah, he fires back at us. He says, I just ate a healthy salad. I love to pile all types of seasoning like rosemary, basil, dill weed, just to name a few seasonings I put on it. Me too, Brother Ray. I'm always eating salad, and it's a low. I think about most salads have about 20 or 15 calories, which is low. Basically, no calories in it. And he adds his little things like he's mentioning. There's some people who add certain seasonings and stuff like that, which is excellent. And I'm glad that you're taking your health seriously and you're eating or trying to eat healthy. He fires back at us again. He says, if you ain't going to fight, don't fuss and argue. It's okay to disagree and still show respect. Absolutely. And I just want to cut this one in half. Respect. There's nothing wrong. Me and you, brother, sometimes we disagree on some things, but that doesn't make me cuss you out. That doesn't make me call you every name in the book. That doesn't make me disrespect you as a man or talk about your livelihood or talk about your family. That's where this generation has gotten to where over a small disagreement, I'm just saying, for example, I make sure I tear this man or woman down because I don't have respect for them. And that's my whole thing. We need to learn how to disagree without just utterly just disrespecting a man or woman. That's just nasty in this generation.
And that's stressful. Yeah, that's stressful too, Chaz. That's stress in itself, you see. And this is why people don't want to have these kind of discussions, you see. They rather listen to music, which is fine. They rather listen to comedy, which is fine. They rather social media, which is fine. They rather go to the movies and watch their favorite entertainer, which is fine. They rather go watch their favorite football team or basketball or baseball or hockey or boxer. That's fine. They rather do all of these things rather than to sit down and to say, even though I'm doing all these things, I'm still stressed out. I'm still stressed out. I don't care what we do, we're stressed out. And this is why we have to have this kind of discussion, because people are stressing all over the world, especially African Americans, and we act as though everything is good. We know we're stressed out, and we won't come clean and deal with the inner man or the inner woman, which is the problem.
Sister Barbara fires back in here. She says, how does a person know when they have true inner peace, big brother?
Yeah. Now this is what I'm saying. I want to address that. That's a beautiful question. This is how a person know when they have true inner peace. When things come in our lives that are unforeseen, and we're able to handle those things and still maintain a status of mental acuity, mental sagacity. Now, those big words basically mean,
come on.
I just try to break it down, Chaz. I got you, because that's a beautiful question. Because no one likes to ask those kind of questions. How do we know when we have true inner peace? In other words, I'll be practical now. When something goes on in my life that comes in my life unexpected, and it's devastating. Yes, I deal with it, but I'm still able to be myself. It's not that I want to get away. I don't want to be bothered. I'm grouchy now. I'm worried. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Everywhere I go, I'm talking about it. Everybody knows my problem. And so this is how we know we have true inner peace, because I can tell in people's lives, and so can you. You can tell when somebody's stressed out sometimes, because you look at their face and everything drops. You look at when they talk. You can tell when a person is having a good day, and then all of a sudden you see them and you say, what's going on? You ain't got to ask them. Their whole demeanor is sad, and they're looking like, you know, they lost their best friend, and all it is they're stressed out. So we're talking about ways of handling stress practically, and I hope I answered the sister's question, because we always talk about peace. In Islam, we talk about peace. No, assalamu alaikum. In spirituality, we talk about peace. Hotel. In Christianity, we talk about peace. Go in peace. But a lot of us wouldn't know peace if peace was dumped in our lap, because we're so worried, man. And these jokers in these buildings that keep foaming at the mouth, swinging from chandeliers, talking about peace. They don't know what peace is. These spiritual gurus who chant, who dress up and put on ankhs and put on dashikis, they don't know what peace is. And these people that's talking about Muhammad and Allah, a lot of them, they don't know what peace is. These are just fat. We just say these things, but in our hearts, Chazz, you know we're stressed out. You know we're stressed out.
Absolutely. She comments, says, I guess she had a typo or a mistake. Brother Ray Fire's back in here. He says, never had interest in being rich, and I have been needing to buy myself some more clothes, but I'm stingy to myself. That's cool, Ray. Here's the thing about being rich. It's kind of, I would say, overrated, because we all have to get by with our needs, like food, clothes, or whatever. I look at it basic. As long as you have some kind of shirt, some kind of shoes, some kind of pants, even if they aren't name brand, even if they aren't Versace, Louis, Gucci, those things kind of really don't matter, because at the end of the day, it's still a shirt, it's still jeans, it's still shoes. So he's saying that he never had the interest in being rich. That's good, because I think a lot of this stuff is overrated, and I'm willing to bet you see this a lot. Some of these people who are rich, they go broke because they're overspending. There's a guy who used to play ball named Antoine Walker, just buying some of the craziest stuff, and now he's ended up broke. Now, I'm not trying to put the brother on Front Street. I'm just trying to show what happens to a man that gets rich, where they just go, they lose it. But that's good, Ray. You never had the desire, and you kind of stingy to yourself, but that's good though, brother.
Well, you know, I'm going to disagree with Ray on this one, even though I know what he's saying, and I'm disagreeing in fun. So don't no one get serious. I'm disagreeing with Ray from the standpoint of, we're talking about practical ways of handling stress. And what I'm trying to say is this: I want to be rich. I want to have financial backing. I want to have that, but I don't want to be stressed with it. There's a lot of people who are rich and they're stressed out to the max. They're so stressed out, they're going crazy. So I want to be rich. I want to have things. I want to have all this stuff. I want to have everything that everybody else has. I don't want to be struggling. I want to, but I'm not going to get over on anybody to do it, and I'm not going to stress over it. And if I am poor like I am now, I don't have much, but I still know how to live within my means. And I'm not stressed because I don't have stuff. So you got to play both sides of the coin when you're talking about stress. There are rich people who are stressed. There are poor people that are stressed. The rich people are stressed because their mindset is so messed up on abusing people, and they're just stressed out as to how to keep it. The poor people are stressed because they want to get it. So come on now, y'all. We're talking about, how do you handle this stress? You be content in whatever situation that you find yourself.
Absolutely. And he fires back in here. Brother Ray says, when the slave disagreed with the slave owner, it was dealt with a hostile nature. So if that generational programming annually, I'll let you read that one real quick. I don't know. About the
purity. He says, my peace is within, even in battle. That's all I'm saying. See, this is all I'm saying. Stress. Tonight's subject, and I hate to sound like some kind of announcer, but we have to stay, and we are on subject. Tonight's subject is practical ways of dealing with stress. What this man is putting on this board here, on this screen, is the answer. My peace is within. He says, even in battle. That's all we're saying. You got to be able to maintain no matter what's going on. Sometimes we don't feel right, but do we
And
still have? Go ahead, Chazz.
oh no, I was just gonna say Nuzi's in the building. She says that's true. I was
Yeah,
reading her comment.
even when we don't feel well, Chazz, are we stressed? When we feel well, are we stressed? When we have, are we stressed? When we have not, are we stressed? So this is what we're saying. This is how we handle this stress, as you read in the comments as we go along here.
Brother Ray Fire's back in here. He says the rich don't want to look rich in the public. The poor want to look rich in the public. Yeah,
Wearing
because
all these chains and stressed out to the max. Don't have a pot to pee in, but wearing all of that.
yeah, and Sister Mashonda Fire's in there. She says the truth. That here's the thing, like Brother Ray just said, mentally. Before I read this next comment, every day this is a mental battle. There's sometimes we always want to complain about Satan and the devil and all that. We have to sometimes look at our own selves because every day our minds, we're always thinking about how can we make the next dollar? How can we make ends meet? How can I pay this bill, that bill? And every day, I must admit to myself, the older I get, every day your mind is going to always be tested. Should I do this right thing? Should I cheat this person? All these kind of things. And it's all kind of mental warfare going on in the mind. And a lot of people I don't think are taking this serious. And some of these thoughts that come in that we have, and sometimes we act on it. These are all mental battles that sometimes we don't take seriously, but it all starts in the mind. And we have to basically try to keep that at peace as much as possible.
And some of those things you just said too, Chazz, and some of those things you just said, they cause stress. There's nothing wrong with worry or wondering about the tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. But stressed over it, over it, that's what we're saying. This is how we handle stress. And this is why we need to set an example for these kids, for these grandkids, for these nieces and nephews. We got to set an example of them so when they grow up, they can say, I remember my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncle, my aunt, my cousin. I remember that they always had an even keel. They didn't seem to be rattled by anything, but they're not going to say that. They're going to say, I remember my uncle, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister. They were so up in the air. Every time you look around, they were complaining. They were always at each other's throats. That's stress. That's all that is stress, Chazz. And Raymond says, I'm not rich, but I'm not in need of anything. Yeah, we're talking stress. He says, God is within, the heavens within. We're talking about stress. People say that, but people are still stressed. I know a lot of people who say God, now this is not a knock on what Ray is saying. A lot of people talk about God being within. The natures are within. The spirit is within. But they're stressed to the hilt. This is a contradiction, man.
Brother Ray Fires back again. He says, every day you're not the person you were the day before. So strive to be better each and every day. Absolutely. You should be. And Sister Barbara Fires in here. She says, our mind is the battlefield until we get stress under control. Sister, our mind is going to be a battlefield to the day we die. There's not a day that you're going to wake up and say, my mind is completely clear. My mind is completely empty. I have no warfare today. Each day, each and every individual wakes up. There's always going to be warfare in the mind. And we have to, like she said, keep it under control because it's something that can really make us go insane if we don't keep it in check. Letter F, seek professional help if necessary. Talk to a mental health professional for guidance and support. It's nothing wrong with that. If you have the money and you have the resources to make this happen, go set it up. Tell them what's going on. Because if you hold all this stuff in for years and years and years, and someone does something as minor as step on your shoe or cut you off in traffic, you will explode. And all that stuff built up within you will cause you to probably have a stroke when you let out all that anger at once. So that's not good. So I would agree. If you can and you can afford it, talk to a mental health professional so they can try to see if they can get you right. I'm not against that. What's your take on that, brother?
You know, I hear what you're saying, and I definitely agree with you. But here's what I'm saying. We're going to stop at this. We're going to continue to talk. We got about 8 more minutes, but we're going to let this be the last information is F. We have more, so we'll pick it up next week. But I wanted to say this, Chazz. I really do. Some of us, we really do need help, Chazz. We really do. Now, when I say professional help, I'm not talking about these jackleg so-called psychiatrists that read a few books. They think, excuse me, they think they know everything. Excuse me again, I got a call. Because some people, they think they know everything when it comes to stress. but we
Right.
don't. There are people, especially African Americans, who can help us. They're not going to give you medicine. They're going to give you some practical things to do, like you and I. We're talking about practical ways of helping. Who wouldn't want these practical things that we all can do to help us? So, some of us, we really need help. That's our problem. We have not sought professional help, and we know that it's way beyond necessary. Some of the people in our families are crazy. They have a lot of problems. They really are. And I'm not saying this to belittle them. I'm not saying this to put them down. But a lot of us don't want to be honest. We have some people that are sick, man. And a lot of us don't want to express that. So we want to act like they're healthy, but they're not. The way we think, our neurosis, our psychology, our philosophy, we are sick and we need help because we're stressed to the hilt and no one wants to address that. So I think we should go back to saying maybe we should allow people to know that as a person, you need professional help because I can't help you. I can't help you. Because what you're going through now is way beyond my little part. Because see, most of us think we know everything, so we think we can help everybody. Chaz, there's some people that we just can't help. And we got to be honest about that. We got to be honest about that. But let us tell you, everybody that has a problem, come to me and I want to solve it. And yet we're going to mess these people up more. The church has done that. Spirituality has done that. Islam has done that. As far as the negative things they've taught, not the truth, all these things, all that negative stuff, it has screwed many of us, man. And yet we don't want to talk to a professional. So we're going to die messed up, stressed out the way we're stressed out. And that's really bad, man. When to leave this earth and don't know how to deal with issues that come our way. Don't want to watch a broadcast like this because you rather watch something else that ain't going to help tell you anything. Don't want to watch a broadcast every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. Don't want to be committed to something that's going to help you and your children. Something that doesn't cost you anything, but you rather go and give your money to these jokers that come and play guitars and all these instruments on the stage, or come and tell a joke, make you laugh, watch a TV, go to the movies. This doesn't cost anything, but yet you don't want to be committed to this to help your own lives. Chaz, stress has driven us mad. Would you say so?
Yeah, it has driven us bad. And I was just going to just say real quick, as you were going on that rant, you got to understand that some people aren't going to want to watch broadcasts like this because they look at it as negative or hard hitting, and it's uncomfortable. And I know it is. It's uncomfortable at times because we're touching on tough subjects, but that's just the way these things are. And hopefully people will start to see that this is not an anger or frustration. This is out of love. We care for you. That's why we're telling you these things.
And this is what I'm trying to say, Chaz. If you can't read the bottom of this screen, and I know you can and other people can, if you can't see what that says, practical ways of handling stress. And if I know I'm stressed out as an individual, my psyche, my consciousness is going to say, let me see what these brothers are saying that may apply to me so I can help myself, help my children, my grandchildren, and all of that. See, this is what I'm saying. So it has nothing to do with negativity. So how can a person take this, not you saying this, but the reason they take this as negativity is because their minds, man, their minds have been so infiltrated with, they don't know good from bad. This is all good.
I was going to say this real quick before I forget. You know how people are in general. They look at it as negative. That's why these spiritual practices and gurus on YouTube, I'm starting to see more and more pop up on my algorithm every day. They're popping up because these spiritual teachers, 90% of them are tickling these itching ear people. They're telling them what they want to hear about the chakras being aligned and all this crap. Here's the thing. It feeds to people's ego. It feeds to what they want to hear. And when you have content like that, people are going to run to it. They're going to jump to it. But when you have content like this, they're just not, because it's not basically feeding their ego. Brother Ray Fire's in here before we run. He says, I can say I'm stress free regularly.
That's good.
That's a good place to be at, brother. He comes back and says, I was seeing a psychiatrist for my insomnia. He was of no help and dropped me as a client. So now I'm drunk. Star cherry juice. Oh man, the brother Ray is something else, man.
Yeah. And what we're saying about this stress is, Chaz, do it for your children. Do it for yourself. I gotta do it for myself, because that to me is an ideal life. An ideal life is not to just have all these things. An ideal life is to, whatever condition I find myself in, to know that whatever happens to me, I'm going to be able to handle it.
Right.
Didn't say that I wasn't going to be able to have those issues. I'm just saying I can handle it. See, and that's why we got to do a broadcast to let people know that all these things we're talking about, these are things in life that are just normal. They happen every day.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do about those things when they come your way? What do I do about those things when they come my way? We're saying that we should know how to deal with those things, and we should know how to put those things in a, like we say, compartmentalize them where we can continue to be ourselves. Now, if I do the broadcast next week, you asking questions, I'm barely talking. You ask me what's wrong, I'm looking at the ground. You ask me what's going on, I'm scratching my head. And then I finally tell you, Chazz, I'm stressed. You say, I know you were stressed. I know you were stressed from the get-go. But because you're different now. But when I get money, when I get something, oh yeah, Chazz, let's do the broadcast. Let's do that broadcast. This is what we're talking about. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we got, oh man, we over time already, Chazz. So I forgot to play our little music and all that. So I'll play the music and let you say a few words, and I'll say a few words, and we get out of here. We still have comments coming in. Let's pick it up next week where we are now, and talk about this whole idea of what we can do to help us when it comes to stress. So I think we need to pick up one of these comments. I think this might be one here.
Yeah, Sister Barbara Fires in here. She says, yes, do it for self and children. And then she says, on point with the strong hand. Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, pure 100% tart cherry juice is a good sleeping aid. Okay, he's saying for people who have struggled with insomnia or you can't sleep at night, he's giving you guys pointers on how to get some good sleep. Sister Barbara says, thanks for the info. Yeah. Sister Mashonda Fires in here. She says, Shemotep. We appreciate her. And we appreciate those nice comments.
Yeah, this is a nice broadcast, Chazz, because basically all we're doing is just trying to help us. You know, I'm talking about we're trying to help each other because this is what it's all about. It's about helping us realize that we have a lot of issues and we can solve those issues. And one of the issues that we have as a people is stress. All of us. So we're not sitting here saying we don't ever be stressed, but we're saying when stress comes, what do we do? Right. You should be able to sleep at night. You should be able to eat. You should be able to exercise. You should be able to drink water. You should be able to put things in perspective and move on down the road. These are practical things. I keep saying things, but these are practical truths that all of us should already be living by. But because I'm not living by them, I'm looking for something. I'm searching. I'm sniffing. When you don't have to do that. You don't have to, man. So on behalf of Chazz, I'm going to let him have the last words. This has been Adults Only. We come on every week at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Please watch this broadcast as we continue to talk about topics that's important. And tonight's topic and last week's topic, the week before, we were talking about how stress has affected us. And now we're saying what we can do about that stress to help us get back to ourselves. Because, Chazz, we need to get back to ourselves. So having said that, we love you all. Thank you for watching this. And I'll let Chazz take us on home.
I appreciate you for having me on as always, brother. Tonight was a good broadcast about stress, how to handle it. And if nobody got anything out of any of this, this is what I want people to understand about stress. Don't let it disrupt your peace. Do not let it disrupt your peace, because when it disrupts your peace, now you're in a downward spiral where you're going to probably be crying, you're going to be agitated, you're probably going to be sleeping in more, not want to be bothered. When your peace is affected, it disrupts everything. All throughout this life, as we get older, there's always going to be things constantly coming at us, constantly trying to tear us down, constantly trying to wear us out. What are you going to do about it? You're going to sit there and shrivel up and just fold up? No, you got to keep fighting this thing off, because I keep saying this over and over again. As long as you live, you're going to have issues. You're going to have something picking at you, but you have to take the right measures and say, you know what? I didn't see this coming at me today, or I didn't see this coming, but I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Next week, we're going to touch up on the subject again. And once again, do not let these things take away your peace. Take care, everybody.